Welcome to the Rewriting Naruto series part 51. This is a series of videos where I rewrite the Naruto series, making changes to improve the story for my personal taste. Guys, please, if you're watching this video, please leave a like because it helps the channel out a lot. Also, subscribe and ring those notifications so you always know when the rewrites come out. I've been pretty consistent. I think I deserve a like, don't I? It takes 2 seconds, so just do it. Let's get going. Naruto punched the ground in frustration. Tears fell on his hand, and he couldn't stand up because Sasuke slashed his ankles. The pain was sharp, but it didn't compare to the feeling of powerlessness boiling within Naruto. Why can't I ever do anything? I'm never strong enough. Why can't I ever convince him? Yamato managed to stand up after the effects of Sasuke's electric current waned. He touched Naruto's shoulder. You did well. There wasn't anything else you could have done. Rest easy. You tried everything to bring your friend back. I don't give a damn about resting! I have to bring him back! He's my friend, and I promised Sakura. I just can never convince him. Damn it! Maybe you two are just too different to come to an understanding, but still, you almost won, Naruto. You got desperate at the end. You've gotten stronger, way stronger. If we had more members of the battalion backing us up, we would have won. So don't be discouraged. But I still lost, even after everything I put into training. I put everything into that fight too. Everything I had.
But you didn't, Naruto.
The overpowering voice of the Nine-Tails said from within.
You didn't use me. You resisted the urge to summon my powers. The Uchiha had barely any chakra at the end of the fight. You could have used my power to heal your ankles, but you suppressed me.
Of course I suppressed you, filthy fox! Look at how many people are in this city! You would just want to kill them all! Besides, you lost bad to Sasuke last time anyway.
That wasn't me fighting him. It was only a mindless chakra of my creation. If you let me take control, I could have destroyed him there.
There you go. I don't want to destroy Sasuke, you moron. I just want to take him back. And besides, you just want to take over my body and kill me in the process. I will never use your chakra again.
We shall see.
Sasuke landed a few kilometers away from the port city of Origuru. He deactivated his curse mark and Sharingan, for he was very tired. I just have to keep on getting as far away from that city as possible. And I'll have to stay away from our general meeting point that I set with Sugetsu, Jugo, and Karin. They could have been captured, and the Leaf could be using them as bait to catch me once they try to find them. That would be bad. I barely have any chakra left. Never thought Naruto would learn those abilities and force me to use a skin chain substitution. So if I had to fight Kakashi and other Leaf ninjas now, I'd be in trouble.
Don't worry, my dear. If they trap you, I would get you out of it.
Orochimaru said from within Sasuke. I will never surrender my body to you. I'll never grant you that satisfaction.
You say that now, but there is a reason why you chose to absorb me instead of outright killing me, isn't there? My boy.
You disgust me. Having your constant presence within my psyche is repulsive, for your powers are useful.
Oh my. What about all those years we spent training together? Have you not grown to care for me just a little in that frigid heart of yours?
No, ever since I joined you, I have been planning to kill you. You may have believed I would surrender my body willingly, but that was a lie.
So your vengeance was never that important to you. Didn't you want to fulfill it by any means necessary, Sasuke? Even if I had to take over your body and fight against Itachi with our combined strength?
You could never beat him, Orochimaru. Even if you had my body and eyes, you're not the type of ninja that can kill Itachi Uchiha. So I decided that when you were no longer useful, I would eliminate you and move on. But then it occurred to me that I could take in your powers instead. So in a way, your plan succeeded. Just not for you.
So the little cat dodged the snake's pounce. But I wouldn't be so confident. When the time comes, you will need me to save you, and I will be here for you, my boy.
No need to worry. Once I kill Itachi, I'll regurgitate you out of me and execute you. I'll no longer need your powers after he's dead.
Oh, so the cat will show me his claws then. I look forward to it.
Is Jugo awake yet? So we get to ask Karin. No, he actually took a lot of damage. That Shino guy is way stronger than he looks. I don't have chakra to heal Jugo right now, so we should just probably take a rest here. Yeah, going to their meeting point after everything that happened is like walking straight into a leaf trap. They will probably be just waiting for us there, right? So Getsu still couldn't bring himself to look Karin in the eye, but he managed to talk to her. Yeah, and apparently the battalion is much bigger than the 3 we fought. Anyway, let's rest here and recover some chakra. So Getsu snapped as an overwhelming realization came to him. He was too distracted by the situation they were in, and also being close to Karin after the things I told her, but now he noticed something was missing. Karin, where's my sword? Your sword, yeah, you don't have it right now. Did you get my sword? Jugo broke it and I dropped it. Of course I don't have your sword. Whoever brought us here just knocked me out before I realized what was going on, and besides, the sword is broken anyways. What do you want to do with it? No, Karin, we have to get back. I can't lose the executioner's blade like that. It would be so stupid. You just said that going to the meeting point is like walking into a trap. I don't mean going to the meeting point. I mean going back to the city. Just back to where, the sword was dropped. That's even worse, you imbecile. I don't care. I'm going. Suigetsu finally stood up with his wobbling legs, but Karin held him back by the neck. You're not going anywhere. You don't even know where we are. I can guide myself using the stars once it gets dark. You have no idea how to do that. True, but you do. I'm not letting you risk your life for a stupid sword that's broken. Suigetsu froze for a brief instant. So, you're saying you care about me? He opened a wide grin. If you go there, you just put the whole mission at risk, and Sasuke will be pissed. But you said your life, not our mission. Just shut up. Karin pulled Suigetsu back down. Sasuke has a blood summoning contract with that stupid sword. Once we regroup, he can summon it back to you. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That's actually smart. It's not smart, you're just too dumb. Oh, don't get me started. I'm not the one in love with a guy that couldn't care less about you. Sasuke cares about me. No, he doesn't. He does! Besides, you're in love with me, and I couldn't care less about you, so you're not the one to talk. Yamato sent a few wood clones to check on the civilians and the city in general after Naruto and Sasuke's clash. It seems no one died, but several people got hurt, and the city took a lot of damage from the explosion. I'm glad he got those people right beneath the orb of light away before it blew up, because that would have been pretty bad. I didn't know the clash would create that explosion. I meant to strike my Rasengan against his Chidori because wind is strong against lightning, but that explosion was too much. I didn't do that last time. Naruto was still on the ground, clutching his ankles. The last time you were both much weaker, so you have to be mindful of the power of your ninjutsu, especially when there are civilians around. Yamato, status reports. Kakashi said via mind link. We engaged Sasuke, but he escaped. The city suffered damage, but no casualties. And Naruto? He's upset, and his ankles are hurt. He can barely walk. But he's alright, all things considered. I knew sending the two of you was a mistake. You're gonna have to carry him. We need to regroup right now. Something happened? Don't tell Naruto just yet, but Anko is dead. Yamato's mouth dried, and he felt tingles on his tongue as a wave of adrenaline washed over him. How, senpai? Kabuto, Kakashi thought, and then gave Yamato the coordinates for their new meeting point a few kilometers away from the port city. We have to regroup as soon as possible. All our teams are vulnerable. If the Akatsuki attacks, we could be picked apart, especially considering that we have Naruto here. Roger that, Battalion Lord. Sasuke found himself a hidden spot in the forest and set up an alarm system with kunai and wires. A large deer carcass laid close so that it would disguise Sasuke's scent at least a little bit for the dogs and make it more difficult to track him. That should be a good place for him to rest and recover his chakra, and once he did so, he would find Suigetsu, Jugo, and Karin using the cover of the night. Sasuke sat down in his alcove and closed his eyes as the sun began to set, tainting the sky red. Yamato carried Naruto, jumping from tree to tree through the forest as the sky turned dark. Eventually they reached the battalion's new meeting point. They were the last ones to arrive. The whole battalion was in a pitiful state, hurt, out of chakra, and their faces were gloom. Even though they were in a bad situation, they seemed to be too quiet. Rock Lee was still unconscious, Neji's face had swollen to a comic extent, but who shocked Naruto the most was Shikamaru. Shikamaru, your arm! It's a drag, but there's nothing we can do about it. Kabuto? Yeah, we found him and fought him. But my arm, well, it's not the worst part.
What do you mean?
Anko's dead. Kabuto killed her in combat and fled, Kakashi said with a severe tone.
What? How?
He was way stronger than before, and we fought him in his terrain. Shikamaru's anger seeped out of his voice.
Let me down. Where is she?
Naruto told Yamato who put him down, but he still couldn't walk, so he crawled. Kakashi put a hand on his shoulder. I'll take you to her. The others have already paid their respects. Kakashi carried Naruto away from the group, signaling the others to stay. They arrived at a beautiful myrtle tree nearby. The red flowers were vivid, and the final embers of sunlight still reflected on them. Anko's body laid beneath it, chopped in 2 parts. Her eyes were dead. Naruto felt sick to his stomach. Kakashi put him down close to Anko. He was in shock. He wasn't particularly close to her, but she had been a comrade, fighting in the same battalion, going on the same mission. It was a surreal feeling. She was dead right in front of him, and the way she died was so brutal. Naruto's body shook, and his breathing became erratic.
You couldn't save her.
The Nine-Tails said from within.
Shut up!
Naruto's yell echoed in the forest. He mustered all of his willpower to suppress the Nine-Tails' chakra from leaking out.
Shouldn't we close her eyes?
It took us a while to find her, so the eyelids hardened in place. But now, after a few hours passed, I suppose we can. Naruto did so, closing her dead eyes. It's the first time for you, isn't it? To have a comrade die on a mission with you.
Yeah.
Naruto joined his hands in a prayer for Anko.
Did she have family?
No, her father died in the Third Great Ninja War. Her mother died in the Nine-Tails incident. Naruto heard the Nine-Tails' laughter from within once more, and with a humongous mental effort suppressed his anger at the demon.
I didn't know.
Naruto felt closer to Anko. Knowing she was an orphan like him made him empathize more with her.
I wish I got to know her better.
Regret is something you carry regardless of who and how they die. Regardless if it's rational or not, you'll have it. I, for one, was careless, too eager to get to Sasuke. Our best chance to find him was to spread the group very thin, so Anko's death was my responsibility.
No, I mean, it wasn't your fault, Sensei. Kabuto killed her.
It was my fault, but that doesn't mean it was the wrong choice. Anko knew the risks of this mission. All of us do. Several things we couldn't have anticipated happened at the same time. Naruto, sometimes your comrades will die. It may be because of a mistake, bad luck, or simply because the enemy was stronger. It's how you deal with their deaths that separates mediocre from great shinobi. What do you think we should do next?
You're asking me?
Kakashi nodded.
Well, if we don't keep going, her sacrifice will go to waste. We can't call off the mission or anything like that.
Good. You understand. This is the life of a shinobi. Besides, an S-class mission requires a squadron to continue despite its losses, so long as there's a chance of success. Shinobi push through pain and through loss.
Kabuto, that bastard. I won't let him get away with it.
Naruto clenched his fists. In time, but for now we have to focus on our mission. Itachi and Sasuke are the priorities. Naruto closed his eyes in frustration, and tears fell off of them.
And I failed. I wasn't even able to get Sasuke back. If we had gone and helped them instead, maybe Anko wouldn't be dead.
Open your eyes, Naruto. Look at Anko once more. Naruto did so, staring at the dead body. When I was even younger than you are right now, my life was spent on the Great War battlefield. Getting over the death of comrades to fight another day was routine. It happened almost every day, sometimes more than once a day. We are here on this mission to avoid that from ever happening again. We can't let losses like Anko's become norm in another great war. So we fight. Reflect upon your choices so that you can do better next time, but don't regret them. We are shinobi of the Leaf Village. We carry the will of fire, and this mission is to protect that village and this entire land. To protect the flame. That is what Anko died for. Naruto gave a solemn nod.
So what will you do next?
We'll spend the night here and rest, and also rest for the next day. We need Sakura and Ino to recover their chakra to heal us all tomorrow. And then we will continue the search. This time, I'll keep the battalion together. Shino has a lead on Deidara of the Akatsuki. We will start looking for him. We must find Itachi before Sasuke. Or at least find Sasuke again, because the next time, I'll be there with you. Naruto nodded. Now let's call the others. We should bury our comrade together. Deidara flew up in the sky on top of a large claybird after hours spent on a fruitless search.
I'll kill that idiot, I swear. Next time he falls off my bird. Senpai!
senpai! Toby said from behind Deidara, who gave a slight jump. When did you get here? I swear I'll kill you, Toby! Where have you been all this time? And you better give me a good answer.
I was looking for that pesky fly, senpai. I'm really sorry. I fell off the bird and got lost in the forest. And the worst thing, I couldn't even find the fly.
Deidara's eye twitched in anger. Do you know how much time you made me waste looking for you in that forest? Now we're gonna keep on searching for the Uchiha boy into the night to compensate for it. Deidara turned away from Toby and looked down using his eye gadget. Toby slapped Deidara in the middle of his ass, making him fall face first on top of the back of his bird.
I got it, senpai! I got it! I finally did it! I got the fly!
Toby raised his palm, which had a smashed bug on it. Deidara stood up calmly and turned around slowly, looking at Toby with sheer murderous intent. Toby! Toby exploded away from the bird and into the dark sky, trailing smoke behind him. I'm sorry, Battalion Lord. My female bug has been destroyed. My bug's lost its scent. I can't track Deidara anymore. I apologize for my failure. Shino told Kakashi after the battalion had buried Anko and created a memorial of 3 kunai staking on the dirt, linked by wire right where Anko was buried. It doesn't surprise me they would detect it. It's the Akatsuki after all. We'll track them by smell again. We'll remain a single unit this time. Battalion Lord, I should step away and return to the village. I'll be a burden to everyone in my state, Shikamaru said. Do you really believe that? Or is that your guild talking? Kakashi asked. I cannot weave signs and I lost my dominant hand. I can't fight with any competence anymore. My ninja career is over. That's not true! Sasuke knows how to weave hand signs with one hand, and Haku knew them as well. You can learn them too, Shikamaru. You're smarter than Sasuke! Naruto said as Choji looked at Shikamaru holding back tears. Sasuke and I are not cut from the same cloth. And for now at least, I don't want to endanger the mission, so I should go. I'll go with you. Make sure everything is okay on the way back. No, Choji. You're still capable of fighting, and will need every ounce of strength to complete this mission, Kakashi said. Don't worry, Choji. I'll rest for tonight and leave in the morning. Hopefully I'll get a little bit of ninjutsu healing, so that it will make my journey as painful. Tenten, you are to accompany Shikamaru back to the Leaf Village. That way, he won't be alone in his journey. What? Me? But Tailord, I'm fully recovered. That's why I'm sending you. So if that anything happens, you can fight against a possible enemy that attacks Shikamaru. Should I bring Lee with me? He looks very hurt. No, Lee will stay with us. Sakura shall heal him tomorrow. Tenten gave Akashi an unenthusiastic nod as Naruto asked Sakura to sit next to him, seeing that he couldn't still walk. She did so, sitting next to him around the campfire. I'm sorry, Naruto, I don't have any chakra to heal your ankles for now. That's alright. I'm the one who's sorry here. I failed again. Couldn't fulfill my promise to you. Sakura looked down. It's always you doing everything, isn't it? Never changes. I wish I wouldn't be a burden. I wish you hadn't made that promise. No, that's not what I meant! Sakura looked at Naruto's ankles and then to the several wounds around his body. Look at what this promise did to you. You don't deserve this. Sakura, I'll get stronger. And next time for sure, I'll bring him back. Besides, don't worry. Sasuke still cares. Maybe he'll just return to the village by himself. He really cares, I mean it. It's like Shino said. He wants to come back. He just can't bring himself to do it. Really? When we saw him in the land of grass, he was so cold. Really? I transformed the shadow clone into you. He couldn't stop staring at it. It was creeping me out, to be honest, because he was staring at me. He got so distracted I caught him from behind, totally off guard. Sasuke's so madly in love. Sakura blushed. They say the distance makes the heart grow fonder. Yamato startled them appearing from behind. Damn, I thought you'd be used to my face by now. It's not that! It's just that you creep on us out of nowhere! Still, Naruto, I admire your, openness, I suppose. It's not every dude that lets his girl date other dudes. Oh, shut up! Sakura's not my girl! Naruto was fuming, but Sakura laughed. Huh? You're not mad at him, Sakura? No, knowing that he still cares, it gives me hope. Sasuke Uchiha, I'm gonna kill you! Deidara shouted into the forest as he surged it from above, still flying on his great claybird. Deidara-senpai, you scare me! Why do you want to kill Sasuke so bad? What is the true meaning of art for you, Toby? Art? Well, I'd say the moon! The moon? Why? No matter how far apart you are, if you both look at the moon, your gazes will meet. Deidara was taken aback. I wasn't expecting an answer like that, but that doesn't count count. Art has to be created by a human.
But the moon was created by a human.
What?
Never mind, never mind.
Well, I admire your answer. You put some effort and thought into it at least. But Toby, true art is
An explosion!
Yes, exactly. You're learning.
I just don't understand why that has anything to do with killing Sasuke Uchiha.
It has everything to do with it. 12 years ago, Deidara woke up for another boring day of his boring life. He dressed up with his traditional boring red monk robes and made his way to the boring temple courtyard for his boring routine morning exercises. A crowd of monk boys dressed exactly the same as him, and they lined up in files, sitting and doing the exercises led by a senior monk. That was so stupid and boring. Deidara detested those exercises. You were supposed to stay still, but he never saw the point in them. Breathing? Anyone can breathe. At 7 years old, he lived in the stone temple of Erude, in a remote location of the land of Earth. He never knew his parents, and had lived in this temple ever since he remembered himself as a person. The temple itself was located on the top of a large mountain. The many buildings were carved on the rock itself, no doubt by ninjutsu from stone ninjas. Deidara had no last name, just like all the other stone monks. He had no identity. He didn't know who he was. He was just another idiot monk boy doing breathing exercises in the morning. Deidara had attempted to escape the temple 6 times now, all unsuccessful attempts, and every time he failed, the monks punished him harsher and harsher, with an avalanche of additional boring breathing and meditation exercises for weeks on end. He would only be able to leave once he reached 18 years old, and it would take another 11 years for that to happen. 11 more years of torture. His golden years will be wasted in this temple. Remember, when you breathe, you're receiving God into your body. Open yourself and listen to his voice in your mind, the senior monk said. The monk boys around Deidara smiled and seemed content with those instructions. What a lot of bullcrap, Deidara thought. He tried to open himself to God like the old monk said once, but Deidara never heard anything in his head, never felt any supernatural presence. He was sure that was all a ploy to keep the children imprisoned, and the worst thing was that the other monks, they all believed in those stupid teachings. Naturally, they all hated Deidara for merely wanting to be free. There was no God, there was no divine. If those things existed, then they wouldn't have sentenced Deidara to this sort of life. Only a few of you will ever ascend high enough for a great passing, but any of you can, so long as you accept God into your life, your breath, your food, and everything you do. The monks always talked about this great passing. Deidara had no idea what it was, and he had no desire to learn about it. The torture's morning exercise routine mercifully ended at around lunchtime. Deidara ate his boring vegetarian dish with the other monks. He didn't talk to anyone, that bunch of sheep. They weren't even allowed to eat meat. Deidara had only had meat once, and he loved it. He got into a lot of trouble for it, because for some reason the monks say that eating meat is bad for you or something. Maybe God is in the meat. Deidara never knew. He only got that piece of meat by getting smuggled in from one of the merchants that sometimes visits the temple. After lunch, Deidara and the other monk boys fulfilled their excruciatingly boring cleaning duty. Of course, Deidara had to clean the temple's latrines. It was one of the punishments for the several escape attempts. In the afternoon, Deidara had calligraphy classes and prayer sections. Prayer sections to him were exactly the same as breathing exercises. They're basically the same boring thing, and they prayed for hours on end. Deidara couldn't take it anymore. He had attempted all types of escape he could imagine. Smuggled out by a traveling merchant, climbing down the temple walls, crawling through the latrines. He never made it out of the mountain, and every time he failed to escape, the monks reinforced security. After Deidara finished his late afternoon praying session, well, his pretending to pray praying session, he had the temple's bland vegetarian dinner. Usually after dinner, the monk boys would have their evening exercise routine, but tonight was different. Once a week, monk boys had a different type of lesson in the evening, one they actually could choose. This was the only time in his life that Deidara had a modicum of freedom. He had chosen art lessons. It was the one that seemed the least boring to him, so he felt a little bit of excitement before class. He grabbed his latest sculpture and headed towards it. The class was in the underground of the temple, carved carved from stone, almost like a cave. Rohogu, the old monk that taught them art, had created a paper sculpture that perfectly resembled himself, the sculpture of a monk that sat in the front of the classroom as the monk boy sat on the floor, looking at it, lined up. The sculpture was a papier-mâché sculpture, and Deidara found that unsightly. Paper was so boring to work with. Rohogu opened a glass bottle filled with some type of oil and drenched his sculpture with it. He then lit it on fire with a candle. The monk boys let out a collective gasp as the sculpture began to burn with a perfectly smooth and uniform flame, but Deidara was unimpressed. These monks managed to even make fire look boring. The flame burning the sculpture represents the fire of life. The more stable it is, the more peaceful it will be. You must always seek peace and stability. You must make sure the fire keeps burning at a good, steady pace. Not too slow, not too fast. That is the key for a fulfilling life. Naturally, once you grow older, the fire of life will begin to fade. Someone like me has barely any fire left, the old monk said, chuckling, as the fire began to die down, the papier-mâché statuette almost completely consumed. At the end of life, the fire will go out. The statuette fell, charred, but no longer burning. It is important that you keep the flame steady, so it burns for longer. Life can be complicated, but it mustn't be hasty. Clear your mind of anxiety, for if you do so, the flame will burn steady and longer, and your life will be more fulfilling and also last longer. That is why you must open yourself to God in every action of your day. The stability provided by God, the peace and tranquility, that is the purpose of a fulfilling life. And true art is that which imitates life to perfection. I show to you my little statuettes burning slowly and steady, just like life is supposed to be. Peace and tranquility. I asked you to create a copy of yourselves with papier-mâché, a small one of course, just like the one I did. Now you will pour the oil on them and watch them burn. It will replicate the life you will choose to lead. If you followed my lessons, the flame of your statuette shall burn smooth and steady for a long time before it goes out. Deidara sneered at those instructions. He naturally didn't follow them. Old Rohogu had no idea of what art was. Why should art have to replicate life exactly? That was so limiting and boring. It was so uncreative, it made Deidara angry. Deidara himself didn't know exactly what art really was, but he knew Rohogu was wrong. As the other monk boys pulled their statuettes made out of papier-mâché from their satchels, Deidara pulled out a dragon statuette made out of clay. Rohogu let out a grunt when he saw it and strode towards Deidara. What do you think you're doing, Deidara? Isn't it kind of obvious? It's a clay dragon! Much cooler than that stupid paper statuette. It's so boring when I gouge my eyes out. Dragons don't even exist. This is not art. Of course they exist. I just made one right here. This is art. And it looks 10 times better than any of the other stupid paper statuettes that you made here. Deidara said, looking around the class. You didn't listen to a single word of my lessons, did you? I did! And it's all trash. You have no clue about art, old man. And you suppose you do, Deidara. Small boy like you have everything figured out. I never said that. You're dumb and boring. Oh, spare me. How did you even make this clay dragon? We don't have clay in the temple. I used dirt and mixed it up with my spit. And then I chewed on it until it got thick enough. And then I molded it into this badass dragon. The other monk boys groaned in disgust. How are you even supposed to burn a clay sculpture, Deidara? You should have followed my instructions. I'd rather break my dragon than let a stupid, boring fire burn it. Deidara, you don't understand. Fire is balance. You have to reach it. Oh yeah? Balance this then, you old fart. Deidara unleashed all his pent-up anger and tossed his clay dragon at Rohogu's face. The hard clay hit the face right on the nose and exploded. At that moment, that fraction of a second, Deidara was mesmerized. For the first time, he saw something truly beautiful. The clay shattering into 1,000 shards, breaking the monk's nose, cutting his face all over, and drawing blood which mixed itself with a beautiful pattern of the clay shattering. Red gushes of blood and brown piece of clay combined, creating something so unique in that very moment that no matter how many times Deidara, or anybody else for that matter, try to do again, no one will never be able to. In that very moment, as the monk fell down down and the pieces of his dragon dotted the ground around him, Deidara saw it for the first time. A glimpse of infinity. The excitement and beauty of not knowing how the pieces will break and what will result from it. The infinite possibilities that a single action could create, splitting its initial parts randomly without control. Deidara had a realization. It wasn't creation itself that made beauty, but how creations ended. The whimper the papier-mâché sculptures went out with could never compare to the shattering of the clay dragon, the instant of finality. That was the moment where one could glimpse infinity. That was true art. Deidara smiled in glee as the monk moaned on the ground, clutching his bleeding face. The monk boys began to shout for help, and it didn't take long for other senior monks to arrive. They dragged Deidara out of the room and imprisoned him in a small room without windows or even a bed. Deidara did not protest. The only thing in his mind was the image of his dragon breaking. He couldn't stop smiling, which deeply disturbed the monks. The next day, they decided that Deidara was to fulfill cleaning duties twice as much and praying duties 3 times as much as any other monk for a whole year as punishment. A senior monk would also supervise him at all times to ensure Deidara's good behavior, and he was banished from art lessons. According to the monks, a monk who managed to change Deidara's antics would qualify for a great passing. Whatever that was. He didn't care about his punishment though. Seeing true beauty for the first time was so striking, Deidara thought there was a low price to pay for it. He just wished he could see it one more time, but it would take him 11 years to leave this place. On the first day of Deidara's punishment, he was praying alone in a small shrine near the entrance of the greater temple. One of the most senior monks observed him and made sure Deidara prayed out loud, reciting all verses and prayers correctly. And for the first weeks, that would be the case, to instill a sense of discipline on Deidara, to make him afraid to break the rules again. And as that old monk kept on telling him how to pray properly, they arrived. 2 men and a woman. That took Deidara by surprise. He had never seen a woman before, as they were forbidden to enter the temple. Even the occasional traveling merchants that visited the temple were always men. What was more surprising is that it appeared that the woman led the party. When they spotted the old monk overseeing Deidara, they walked straight towards them, which made Deidara excited. His excitement amplified even more when he saw the symbol they bore. The stone village symbol. They were shinobi. Deidara had heard many stories about them. The monks seemed to hate them, saying that ninjas only serve to cause war and destruction. Deidara found that prospect fascinating, and he respected the ninjas even more just because the monks didn't like them. "Monk, are you a senior of this temple?" the woman said, in a somewhat bored but arrogant tone. Deidara had never seen anyone talking to the senior monks like that before. That made him like that woman instantly. "Women are not supposed to set foot on the Erode temple. You are to leave right now," the monk said. "I don't care. We are shinobi. Your dogmas don't apply to us. Answer my questions, will ya?" she said, casually passing her hands through her shoulder-length jet-black hair. "I am Sako, an Erode monk of the 4th heightening." "Is that heightening high?" she asked without any true interest but a hint of sarcasm. "Yes, quite. I'll be able to execute a great passing soon enough." "Whatever, I don't care about that. What I care about is the boys you'll be handing to me." "What do you mean, girl?" She passed him a scroll which the monk opened and read. "The Tsuchikage has issued a decree that the villages all around the land of Earth are to provide the stone village with their greatest prospects to be trained as shinobi." "Please, me! Please take me, please!" Deidara shouted. The woman looked at him and smiled, which made Deidara blush. He didn't know how to act around women. Were they like him? The monks never taught anything about them. "No, you cannot be taken. You must be educated. As a matter of fact, none of our monk boys will be taken. We are not a village, we are a temple. It is against the law to draft any of our acolytes into shinobi service." That would have been the case in regular times, but the stone village is severely lacking in manpower. We need to replenish our ninjas quickly. We lost too many over the last war. The Tsuchikage has issued a special decree allowing us to draft recruits anywhere in the land of stone, as a matter of fact. So your temple will count. I heard your monk boys are very well fed and disciplined. They'll be perfect candidates. That's why I came here. That makes no sense. The war ended years ago. And yet, the hole it left behind our shinobi force is still gaping. But our monk boys, they are to lead a life of peace and tranquility. They're not to fight in your wars. Well, take that up with a yellow flash. Not that he'd be alive to listen to your rambling anymore. But you look like you're about to drop that any second, so that's convenient for you. That's sacrilegious! You cannot take them away from their place of worship. Just shut your mouth and do as I say, alright? I'd rather not use violence hands on a bunch of stone-hugging monks. Gather all your boys from ages 5 to 10. I will run some tests and take about 10 of your most talented ones. If you hide any of the boys, I will know. If you tell the boys what the test is for so that they can tank it and not be chosen, I will know. So don't even try it, alright? The monk acquiesced and left Deidara behind to fulfill the shinobi's orders. He was in awe of what that woman just did, so he looked at her with wide open eyes and a smile. Can you please take me with you? I hate this place. It's a prison. They torture me with all this boring stuff just because I'm not stupid like them. The woman smiled, and the two men behind her chuckled at Deidara's statement. What's your name, kid? I'm Deidara. I'm Kurohide, and don't worry, I'll take you. I can already see it in your eyes. You're eager for more, never satisfied with the things as they are. I like that. Kinda reminds me of my daughter. Thank you so much! Deidara couldn't believe his luck. The day after he saw true art for the first time, someone appeared to rescue him and take him out of that stupid temple. Perhaps some sort of god did exist. Once he left this cursed place, he could create that beauty once more and understand what art truly was. Later that day, Kurohide ran a few tries with the young monk boys. Stamina, speed, strength, jumping, and throwing exercises. Deidara took part in them as per the woman's request, and to his surprise, he did extremely well, only losing to a few monk boys 2 to 3 years older than him. At the end of the day, Kurohide announced the names of the boys that she would be choosing. Deidara was the first name of the list, followed by 11 others. He beamed in happiness. Finally, he would leave this temple, and his demeanor struck a sharp contrast with the other chosen monks. They all cried, all 11 of them, almost as though they were about to be executed. Deidara couldn't help but to laugh at their faces. Now, Deidara, don't laugh at them. They're leaving their home. It's difficult to leave a place you're attached to, okay? Kurohide told him, so Deidara contained himself, but couldn't really relate to what she just said. He had never been attached to any place or anyone. Leaving for him was the best thing to ever happen. A total no-brainer. Kurohide gave the chosen boys a day to gather their belongings and say goodbye. Not that monk boys had many belongings. The next day, they were all ready to leave, about to exit the temples. All monks from the temple gathered to see their former acolytes off. The mood was grim. Deidara was the only one smiling out of the hundreds in the crowd. We wish you a safe journey and good fortunes. An old monk told the ones leaving as they stepped outside of the gate. Deidara smiled. He turned around and faced the crowd of monks that were staying in the prison and pointed his fingers at them. So long, you stupid idiots! One day I'll come back and I'll show all of you the true meaning of art! Watch part 52 right here, and please don't forget to like if you've come this far. It helps me out a lot, and it only takes you 2 seconds. Don't forget to subscribe, and definitely ring notifications as well, because it helps you and it helps me. And comment down below what you thought about today's episode. Thank you so much for watching.